This situation just took another crazy turn. Is following Mark Williams calling out the Lakers front office yesterday and the Lakers organization in general. We have another report from Shams and from Mark Williams' agent directly, revealing some more shocking details and once again calling out the Lakers, but this time in a more direct, crazy fashion. So stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, folks, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. If you're enjoying it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys again for your continued support here on the channel as we're on the road to the big goal of 20,000 subscribers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is a crazy day across the NBA. Tons of things are dropping, multiple videos dropping for you all. And Lakers play tonight and they need to win some games. But what's really still crazy is that this Mark Williams situation just took another turn. It keeps getting crazier, and we're at the point now where not only is it, a lot of Lakers fans' minds kind of just put in the back burner, it keeps being brought up. And I want to, again, we talked yesterday, and we'll dive into some of the comments that were made in yesterday's video, but I want to focus on the brand new report that just dropped from Shams here. And this was just tweeted. Statement from Jeff Schwartz of the XL Sports Management. The overwhelming sentiment after conferring with multiple nationally recognized doctors is that the Los Angeles Lakers should not have failed Mark Williams on his physical. And this is extremely interesting. Now, it all started, again, when they made the Mark Williams trade. Everyone was excited. Remember Mark Williams tweeted the, blue and gold, or the purple and gold colors. And then after that, once the trade was nixed, we heard reports that the Charlotte Hornets are going to try to protest the trade. They ultimately decided not to. And then you go back and you now see that Schwartz, just then the agency of Mark Williams, is saying that multiple nationally recognized doctors should have not failed his physical because he would have passed according to those guys. It is absolutely absurd. And let's think back to what Mark Williams said yesterday. I didn't think I'd fail my physical. That didn't even cross my mind. The night I got traded, I played a lot of minutes. I didn't think in any world that was possible. Since I've been back at the start of the year, I've played games with a lot of minutes. I feel like every injury I've had has been well documented and I've recovered and has been 100% since. So I don't know what went into that decision. I think that's up to them. So it started with this, with Mark Williams kind of calling out the Lakers front office and the Lakers doctors and all those things. And then you get this news today from Shams, from a different, person, albeit the same agency, that they conferred with multiple doctors to reveal that he should have passed his physical. And that's when it gets extremely intriguing now, because there's been some rumblings about Mark Williams having, injuries, and obviously those injuries are true. But there's also some rumblings about specifically Rob Pelinka having kind of buyer's remorse on this trade, specifically regarding Mark Williams, and that maybe they wanted to save their assets for a younger guy, and we'll dive into that. But to go over a little bit more, Mark was ready and able to play for them and should have been given that opportunity. And this is almost unprecedented. It's very rare. It's unprecedented in the sense of it's very rare where you're getting agencies coming out and calling out the front office. All these things. I mean, it's very rare in general that you get a failed physical to begin with, right? Like, that just doesn't really happen anymore because of all the information that these organizations are privy to prior to the trade. And they were privy to a lot of information. I've covered it in videos. There's reports that they saw the medical documents for Mark Williams from multiple doctors prior to the actual physical, physical. But then once, of course, they had the actual physical, they decided to not go with it. So now it becomes very intriguing as to how, and obviously we're not privy to the information of knowing how the actual physical went, but it seemed like multiple doctors are saying he shouldn't have failed his physical. The Hornets say he shouldn't have failed physical. He played yesterday for the Hornets and he did look pretty healthy. So now the question mark becomes, why did he fail his physical? Now, clearly, I think what most of the sentiment is, the Lakers don't want a guy who could even have a remote possibility of missing tons and tons of games, specifically because they gave up, surrounding their young center going forward, because they gave up so many assets in Dalton, Knecht, in, of course, a first round pick swap. They want to hold on to those assets now to get somebody who's a bit more stable, and maybe he would have passed the physical for most of the teams that he was traded to, but because of the Lakers' current situation, they want to make sure that he is good 100%, and he isn't. However, you would have assumed that they would have done that, due diligence beforehand, with the fact that Mark Williams, they know he's been injured throughout most of his career. See here, opened up in their in the trade. I didn't think I'd fail my physicals. That didn't even cross my mind. Can't write it any other way, right? NBA script. It's just what it is. Compare this with the agency coming out. It's at a point now where things are absolutely, they're getting out of hand a little bit, but it's also at the point where this trade is over with now. Like, the Lakers can't go back and get Mark Williams unless the Hornets are desperately trying to get this trade to actually go through. Dalton Knecht is playing games for the Lakers. Mark Williams is playing games for the Hornets. Could the Lakers use Mark Williams? Absolutely. Is there going to be some fans out there saying that they should have, passed it anyway? Absolutely. And the fact that they conferred with multiple doctors and that they shouldn't have failed this physical, it is starting now to err on the side of fans being on the Hornets side. I mean, at the start, it was the Hornets trying to screw the Lakers, all these different things, when in reality, a lot of these reports are starting to kind of justify the fact that maybe the Lakers were in a very interesting spot. I'm not going to go on either side of the fence here because it's very hard without knowing a lot of the information. I think the Lakers were very strict with their actual physical, and that's why it led to what it did, because they want to hold on to those assets and make another trade in the offseason. Now that's the route they're going to go. They're going to make a trade for Nick Claxton or someone of that nature, or maybe make a signing and get rid of some of the other guys. But we're seeing the Lakers get abused at the center position. Now, Jackson Hayes played okay yesterday. Luka's looked pretty rough so far as a Laker. And you see this here, I want him so bad. Rob just realized he overpaid and knew he had an easy out. I'm not sure exactly, and that's kind of like the thing. Let me know down below, do you think that this is actually the case? I mean, we have multiple reports now saying that he should have passed his physical. Now, again, these are from doctors on the Hornets side, though also these are from nationally recognized doctors, according to Shams. So it's at the point now where what side of the fence are you actually on if you are the LA Lakers, right? That's the biggest thing. And again, you can see this here, whether or not this is the truth regarding overpaying, I don't know if it was necessarily an overpay. It might be Rob Pelinka being, okay, he's not 100%. We're not 100% confident that he can be healthy for 80 games a season or 70 games a season going forward. So we're going to rescind the trade, keep the assets, make a bigger move at the deadline when there's more options, when you have more time to actually see who's going to be playing, all these different things. But when you have the player coming out and saying he didn't think he failed the physical, when you have multiple different other players coming out, and not other players, other agents, doctors, all these different things saying you failed the physical or shouldn't have failed the physical. At what point now, and I'm sure we'll start to hear more information about it, but it's at the point where, boy, oh boy, is it becoming very, very interesting. And let me know down below what your thoughts are on this, because this is unprecedented. We have never seen this before. And most importantly, it is probably going to linger for the foreseeable future here, because if the Hornets do decide to actually go out and do a protest or whatever they can do, even though we said there's been reports that, they're probably not going to go that route, but if they do decide to go that route, there's kind of starting to be some evidence now. We all thought that the Hornets were screwing the Lakers. I don't think the Lakers screwed the Hornets, but it is very interesting. And I personally thought that this was kind of going to die out, and that it was just going to be, okay, the trade didn't happen. It is what it is. He wasn't fully healthy. More and more reports are starting to come out now to at least make Lakers fans question what is actually happening. I don't think that he had buyer's remorse and randomly decided to cancel the trade. I think there were a lot of things that went into it. I do think the number one thing was surrounding his actual physical. I think there was something they saw there. But when you have multiple doctors coming out, it's going to be it's going to make for some very interesting conversation. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest Lakers news. They, of course, play tonight. There's a ton of different reports coming out. Also, Wemby is out for the season, so that's a Western Conference rival that is greatly diminished now. I believe it was a blood clot, so best wishes to him, of course, as well. He's the future face of this league alongside Luka Doncic and a couple other guys. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on all this. Thank you guys for watching. Cheers.